a banger? Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. We've got Bitcoin crashing through critical levels, Bitcoin wells, and maybe some Mt. Gox stuff might be the cause of that. We're going to be taking a look at where those levels are at today and doing as much as we can to figure out, is there support? Is there hope? Guys, stick around. It's time to get it. Let's go. Class in session. Guys, good morning and welcome to Piper Academy. I am Army Piper. We come at you every Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys this news, this data, this stuff that you guys need to know. So let's go ahead and bring up my co-host today. We don't have Trey Fly in. He's out today. He has to fiat mine on the late shift. So I'm here. I'm here with this guy. What's up, OC guy?
Not much. Just here chilling, looking at Bitcoin crashing a lot. Going even farther of what I was initially expecting for this week. Nonetheless, still within the manageable areas. I mean, I don't think that we have had broken critical points as per 6,400K, which is very, very close to my next entry on spot.
Yeah, I've been watching the charts all weekend, all morning long. I was sitting here watching CNBC News on my TV over here, seeing what's going on in the economic side and drinking my legendary aviation coffee. But got to get that in, intake. But I have been watching Bitcoin. It's at some critical levels. We're going to take a look at all these levels in just a moment. But first, I want to go ahead and jump over into what we need to know about the economic data this week. Look at this fear and greed because we're finally at neutral. So that's a big deal. And then we're going to come back and we're going to look at these charts and see what we can find together. But yeah, some critical levels that we talked about last week, absolutely getting crushed this morning. So on the overnight, let's go ahead and jump over to the news, guys. This news brought to you by Decrypted.tax, your trusted tax official. If you have not done your taxes yet, you are way behind and you probably have late fees. But if you are preparing for next year, guys, there's a lot of things that you can be doing in your crypto to help you lower how much you got to pay in taxes next year. And you guys can get a free consultation just by checking down below. Talk to Ernest. Tell him you're with the alumni. So let's jump here. Take a look here. Fear and greed index, guys, sitting at 51. We are finally in neutral. This was to be expected. This is what happens when the prices drop. And I said last week, this is what needed to happen. We needed to hit this neutral, and that is what has happened now. Looking here at the crypto bubbles, you can see it's a nice sea of red on the daily, getting a little bit of green on the hourly at the market open. But I would not put a huge amount of stock into this because this happens a lot, and I think we could continue to go down later in the day. So looking at the daily here and scrolling down, we'll take a look. Bitcoin currently at $61,444 right now. Ethereum holding at $3,300 there. Let's see, any big moves on here that has happened? Tron's moved up a spot. It is now number 11. Cardano holding on to number 10. Chainlink moving up to number 14. You can see here, if we scroll down and just look at the daily here, the only big movers that we have are downside movers. On the upside, it's like 1.6, 1.5. Not a lot of hope there. Oh, the Phantom is up 1.6. Injective's up 1.8 now. So that's what we have there today. And we've got a lot of liquidations, guys. Check this out. Sitting here on the 24-hour, 92,155 traders liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $310 million. The largest single liquidation happened on Binance. It was a Bitcoin versus USDT, $15.3 million liquidation there, guys. That is horrendous. Jumping over, taking a look at the economic calendar. We don't really have a whole lot today. We got a couple of Fed speaking. Fed Waller and Fed Daly are going to be speaking today. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index does come out today at about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. But looking at Tuesday, we got, again, more Fed Reserve speakers. And then the CB Consumer Confidence Report, I will be watching for that one. That's going to be a decent size one. And then down here, Thursday and Friday, we get into the juicy stuff. Durable goods orders and GDP growth rate. That is all coming out on Thursday morning. So definitely going to be watching those ones closely. Usually if they come out at like the 6:30 in the morning, they're pretty important one because they're getting it out there before the market opens. So, and then on Friday, we get that core PCE, guys. That core PCE, again, that is the stuff that the Fed looks at the most when it comes to economic data. That core PCE, their number one indicator. And as of right now, does appear to say that it's going to be higher, which means inflation is coming back. Shout out to Alex, though. Dave Digital might play in the house right now. Alexandra G, she's back. Yes, guys, Friday I got a hold of Alexandra G, and she said, "Yeah, I'll be back next week. I'm doing stuff. I'm busy, man." But yeah, she's all good. So shout out to everybody in the chat, Mr. J, Crux of Crypto, Mohammed's in here, Trade Intuition. Joe is going to be here on the show Wednesday morning. We're going to have him on here, and then OC. It looks like you're frozen. Oh, you're not frozen. Okay. You were so still, you looked frozen. He's going to be on Wednesday morning. Joe is from Trade Intuition. And then next week, we're going to have Amy Lives Crypto on. She's going to be on next week. And then on July 2nd, the spotlight for Billy Goat Tales is going to be the Piper Academy. Crux and I are going to be on there. Talking about what we do and why we do what we do. So please, everyone, come join us over there on Billy Goat Tales. So, OC, let's get into, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. And then I'm going to have you pull up yours, and then I'm going to pull up the heat map and see if there's any correlation there from what we're seeing on the charts to because we don't have TradeFly here today. TradeFly has left the building, so we are on our own when it comes to the heat map today, but that's okay. We can pull it up and get it going. I'm going to jump over to my chart, and let's take a look at what we got going on here. Let me go to that. There we go. Guys, you can see here, I'm on a daily right now for Bitcoin. And we talked about this key level here. Let me go ahead and turn off the channel. There we go. Let's turn on those local fibs. There's that there, and there's that fixed range volume profile. We had talked about this level right here, 62.4 to 61.8. And I said, look, guys, if we are going to hold here, it is going to be because we have the golden pocket, the dynamic reactor, and this value area low coming from this fixed range volume profile over here. It did not happen. I'll just go ahead and put that out. Did not happen. We actually have crashed down through the dynamic reactor on the daily. And typically when that happens, guys, that's bad news. There's some very bad news going on when that happens, because you can see the last time that we had done that was back here in August of 2023. We went sideways for a while, then finally came back up in. But if we stay below and get a rejection off of it, guys, if we come in and we break like we're doing now, and we get rejections off of it, that typically leads to massive downside. So I am definitely going to be watching to see what happens with the retest of that dynamic reactor there on the daily. If we get down here and we trade a little bit sideways, maybe a little lower, and then come back up and we reject off of this dynamic reactor, guys, we have a whole different story going on. And there's some news articles that might actually support why that could be the case. So we're going to be looking at that. And looking here also on some other things, if I put this on the all-time high to low to all-time high fibs, we do have that golden pocket coming in at 59,000. If you guys don't know what this is coming from, this is going from the low back here of 2018 to the high of 2021 to the low. And it's a trend-based fib extension, okay? So low to high to low. That is a trend. Higher high, higher lows, right? that is where I got these levels from. And ironically enough, coincidentally, if we look at what happened here on the all-time high peak here, when we peaked up to the top, we almost got a to the dollar rejection of that 887, all happening in the platinum pocket. We tried to hold it as support here, and you can see we did pull back once from the original and got our bounce in that combined golden pocket and dynamic reactor there. So looking at these fibs, because the other ones that I've been showing you guys are local fibs. These are literally pulled from this low to this high, right? These are local fibs. The ones that I have up right now, this one, these are very long-term Fibonacci's. And so getting this data here, I am watching now for my next level support. It's going to have to be $59,000 to $60,000. I'm going to go ahead and call 59 as the next level of support. And of course, I don't want to scare everybody, but just remember, we have talked about this range right here for a long time. That is $52,000, and that is coming in from this cluster of support over here. Matter of fact, if I bring on a fixed range volume profile and we stretch that bad boy back, you will see some info here. There we go. Let's get that in there, and you will see that there is a volume node right there. That is the next major level after the golden pocket. You can see, let me pull this in to show you. There's a little volume node here and a volume node here, both falling in this golden pocket. You get past that, and you've got these little humps, these lovely Bitcoin bumps on the fixed range volume profile before we get down into this volume node, that 52K. So that's what I got for Bitcoin, guys. Let's go ahead and jump over to OC's chart and see what he's talking about. And then we'll bring up the heat map and see.
Absolutely. So basically, we were following up to the Wyckoff pattern here. We basically are over with that. Did not play it out. I mean, it was perfectly playing out until this area right here when we lost the center of the range. Right now, we're going to this area that I previously circled in here. And why was it circled? Let me just remind you guys that we also were looking at this pattern, which is a huge cup and handle. And we had a perfect reversal signal at the top of it, going for that double top. And guess what? Remember that this area right here that I have pointed out between these two lines, it is my first area of entry. So far, we are on a back test, on a pullback and retest of this handle. So nothing to worry about just yet. Also, if I pull up here, the previous chart, as long as we are still above the 6400 6300, I believe that we are still within the range of the previous range tops, or sorry, bottoms, and we're still having some support. Another thing that I see is that we just had an oversold and we might be getting ready to do a flip of the ribbon. So flip of the ribbon at such of a big support, that for me indicates that we're going to have at least a big movement here, going again at least to the dynamic reactor in the 4 hour. And if we take a look at daily, we could be seeing again a bounce, a very nice bounce that might impulse us back into the bullish. So as we have seen here, we can get very close to the dynamic reactor, even pierce it through. But as long as we don't close below it, I think that there's nothing to fear of. So just keep your eye on daily. And yeah, I mean, I will be buying at 60 when, I mean, as soon as my alert hits, but it's going to be at 6400 6300, something around those areas where we are right now, 6100. Yeah, so 6400 6300, that's going to be my next program DCA entry on those areas. So other than that, turning it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Let's jump over here. Take a look at the heat map that we got up, guys. Looking at this right here, you can see that right now where we are, we have a nice hot area sitting here above us at about 72.5. There is about $5 billion to $6 billion of liquidity sitting up there. Likely shorts, just going to say that, likely some shorts up there. But if you look at where we are right now, you can see we are at a level of support. There's a liquidity block right here. we don't really have a whole lot all the way down until our next major one. It's not even that hot. And that's coming in at about 51,000, 52,000. That's that cluster right there. Again, if you take a look here, that is that area right there. So that's what we're looking at for that next level of support right there. So let's go ahead and jump over to DuoCam. Let's see what people are saying in chat. I'm glad I stopped sleeping in. Okay. Well, Melissa, welcome. We're glad to have you here. And Alexander G, glad to have you here. Anything that you saw in the chat there, OC? I saw Lunar Beaches talking about that we have not broke the trend assistant on Bitcoin yet. So let's pull that up on your chart and take a look at that. And then we'll get into some a little bit of news and some altcoins.
Absolutely. Let me take a look at this area here. Let me clean things up on my charts. Maybe we can go to a cleaner charting here and also get rid of the Mexican spaghetti and then go for the trend assistance. We could be looking at two trend assistance here. We could be looking at the 4 hour, which is the one that we can see right here for prime ranges. Not trend assistance, but they usually tend to work very nicely together. And yeah, we can still see being created one more right there below. But something that I want to point out is that when we are getting one of those or very close to one of those trend ranges along with one of those ticks, well, we usually start seeing that pull up once again. Maybe he's talking about the trend assistance on daily. Let me pull up daily here and also bring up the trend assistant. And here we got it right here as we were expecting, as LBC was pointing out. Right here, we have this as the trend assistance, and we are still bullish and above the bullish green line there. So usually trend assistance, and it's not usually, I mean, it's work for trend assistance is to tell you a quick or an early shift of trend indication and also act as a support. So
Are you on
basically,
the
as you can see
daily?
right
Are
here,
you
what
are
is
you
it?
on the
Oh,
daily?
daily.
Yeah, he said on the daily chart.
Oh,
The
perfect.
trend
So looking
assistant.
at perfect. Yeah. So as you can take a look at it right here, as we broke below the green one, we initially started looking for the red trend assistance, and that gave us a sloping or downward channel in this area before it start breaking back up. So as you can see, we're still let's just say bullish for overall movements till we start piercing through that trend assistant.
Yeah, perfect. And as of right now, that is what we have going on is a little bit of support there, and that's hopium. The trend assistant is your hopium today, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at some news articles here. I do have this article up right now. It says Bitcoin falls to 63K after Bitcoin well transactions drop 42%. You guys remember last week we were talking about old holders, old hodlers of Bitcoin had just been scraping off and selling off some of their very old Bitcoin. Well, those transactions have dropped 42% in the past 24 hours. So here's some hopium for you. Hopium dished up on a plate of news. Bitcoin transactions worth $100,000 or above has significantly fallen over the past 2 days. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has retraced below 63K, significantly below. Bitcoin well slowed their transaction activity in the past 2 days just before Bitcoin's price slipped below that 63,000. On June 23rd, the total number of Bitcoin well transactions, that means it exceeded $100,000 per transaction, was 9,923 over the previous 2 days. A 42% decrease from the 17,091 transactions recorded the 2 days prior, according to data from Sentiment. The change in well behavior comes amid the price of Bitcoin falling, which is now down in the 61s at the time of the publication, according to CoinMarketCap. Meanwhile, well traders betting on future prices of Bitcoin have also taken a step back. They're kind of in just sit and wait mode right now. So the big major sell-off might be slowing down a little bit. That does give you a little bit of hope that maybe retail can swoop in and start getting some juicy buy-ins that will reverse this. But as of right now, I am not overly confident that that's going to happen yet. Guys, We talked about 52K a while back. I hate to say that, but we talked about it a while back, and it looked like it might not be the case, not play out. But now it's looking like it is absolutely back on the table and what's being served up for crypto breakfast this morning. So, OC Alex O Crypto said he loves your Canada shirt. He just wants you to know that. So there you go. A Mexican with a Canadian shirt on a show with an American, with a U.S. American guy. I can't say American because you're, North America, Central America. I'm just saying it's a thing. It's a thing. Let's go ahead and jump over and see what you're seeing on the altcoin charts today. Let's look at some of these top 10 Ethereum's, Link, stuff like that. And then we'll get into some more degen stuff later. So do you have anything up and ready to go? We will head it over your way if you do.
Absolutely. I do have Ethereum pull up. So on Ethereum, basically we were looking at Ethereum on the 4-hour here since we start breaking through this area here. And as you can remember, we've been bouncing from the dynamic reactor and we have been taking a close look at this because I was expecting a possible scenario where we start making a big movement up. Right, so you can see the first bounce that I was expecting was around these areas in here for a pull up. We did have that a tiny pull up, but we did not make it through the neither dynamic reactor, neither to the order block, which that was my first target. And then I was expecting a breakout through this base of previous supports that we can also see on our automatic support and resistance area right here, and also in our big fair value gap that we were looking at before, right? Remember that this was a point where I was expecting that base of that top of the fair value gap to start acting upon it, and then maybe going or overextending a little bit below that fair value gap. So let me just scroll this one a little bit tiny to my right. I believe that we're not going to be hitting this bottom part just yet. I do have a strong belief that Bitcoin is going to be bouncing and reacting violently at these areas. I'm not saying that we're going to be turning bullish once again, but I am expecting a big movement at those big support areas, or at least a dead cat bounce, but a worth looking at dead cat bounce, which it's going to be also pulling Ethereum back up. And we can start seeing the beginning of that by having that huge week at the bottom. If we start looking what happened when we have those big weeks, we at least range for a little bit and then drop, but most likely after we have those big weeks, we move upwards because those are absorption zones, basically just telling you where traders or dark pools are willing to buy or spend some money there. Before I throw it back to you, Piper, I want to ask you something. Was it Randy Heeper that was in the show that mentioned that we could have been at the end of the bull cycle on Bitcoin and the cycle was basically broken?
Well, she said she doesn't believe in the 4-year cycle at all. She said it's not a thing. Yes, and she did say that. But hey, it's we'll find out. At the end of the day, guys, what we do with these moments is if we have dry powder, we deploy into this at key levels of support. And if not, we just strap in and hold on. As Crux said, he doesn't know where it's going, but his bags are packed, and we're playing the long game, as Piano Matty B always says. We're playing the long game here. So let's jump over and take a look at what I'm seeing on Bitstamp on my the big chart, because I want to show you guys a couple of things that are going on here with Bitcoin. One, this is looking at weekly on my long-term fib, the Eric Wallen chart, if you will. It is Fibonacci channels. I do want to point out we're still sitting in capitulation. We have yet to get any green dots or yellow dots printing in here on the weekly. Typically, when that happens, we end up getting that capitulation being over, Bitcoin miners slowing down on sell-off, which has started to happen, but I'm still waiting to see everything kick up here on a green dot. But looking here at where we are, guys, this is the range that I had talked about for Bitcoin, and we really just need to hold this range. That bottom there coming in at $55,000, $56,000. If we do fall in between that, we're hitting into the 786 to 887. This platinum pocket here on the horizontal fibs, which is pulled from from the market top to the market bottom. You can see there is the top of it, candle close at the 2021 high, and candle close at the bottom that we had here in 2022. That pulls these horizontal fibs for the range of the cycle. And then we broke above that phase 3 box there of the platinum pocket, that 8.7. So as long as this holds, I'm not fully bearish, but if this starts to break here at 55 and we do hit that 52K that we were talking about here, guys, 55K is coming in quite a bit above that right there, right below that golden pocket. So that 52K would absolutely be setting us down into this platinum pocket here. And if we close a weekly candle in here, then my bearish sentiment has to shift even more. Also, I want to jump over here and take a look at what we got going on the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin. This is the alts, guys, not including Bitcoin. So it's the total market cap of all crypto without Bitcoin calculated into it. And we had talked about this on a previous show where we were showing this last cycle of altcoins. We get this nice little cup of activity there. We break above, gets its bounce on that support line, that neckline, and then takes off. Alt season beginning there, given a 1,350% move last time. I said, even if we look at it being, a fraction of that 1,350, look at about, 450, that'd be about 1/3 of that number there. Then we would be looking at putting the altcoin market at a $5.1 trillion mark, which would be an astronomically higher Bitcoin. So the one thing that I am watching there is that this total market cap, these alts, stay above this neckline. And as of right now, even with the sell-off that is happening, it is still holding right there above that, coming in currently at $988 billion. That trend line of that neckline is about 928. So about $60 billion worth of altcoins holding us in a market of semi-bullishness still. But I do have to drop one piece of news, and then we'll, guys, let us know in the chat what altcoins you want us to check out. And shout out to Rayanne Shipley, my niece, always joining us here. Love having you here, hon. Let's go ahead and let's jump into this news, and then I want you guys to go ahead and drop those altcoins in. OC is standing by to put that list together, but guess who's back in the news? It's all Mt. Gox beginning repayments in July. It's funny how whenever we get these very bullish sentiment, FUD environments, sentiment just drops hard. Mt. Gox seems to be right in the news somewhere. Mt. Gox to begin repayments in July. Bitcoin slides under 61K. If you take a look here, defunct Bitcoin exchange, Mt. Gox, says it will start distributing assets stolen from clients in a 2014 hack in July 2024, after years of postponed deadlines. The repayments will be made in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and could possibly add selling pressure to both markets. Defunct Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox said Monday it will start to distribute assets stolen from their clients the first week of July. From what I read, it was July 2nd, guys. So on July 2nd, that is when we're looking at this first release of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash coming out to those individuals. We will have to wait and see if we're going to get another extension on this. But if we don't, this, as the article said, could add significantly to that selling pressure. And I know, shout out to Lunar Beaches Crypto, because I know that he loves the Mt. Gox FUD every time it drops. So, all right, we got Caspa in there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Caspa. And then you can start pulling into that and continue getting that list together for me. Let's go and check out Cass and see where we're at on that, because guys, that 11.2 range that I always talk about down there, like, look, anytime we're here, this is probably a good range to buy. And if we do make it down to that 9.5 cents, then you are in hog heaven. But I do want to pull up, and let me get this right. Hold on one second. Let me move that up. Let me grab my trend line, because this is all trend line here, and it's about to go into infinity and beyond, because we have this period. I want to make sure that I get all of this right. Just give me 1 second, guys. because I don't want this trend line to be messed up. It is literally what I bought on previously, and it was where I got in at 4.5 cents at. There we go. So looking at Caspa here, we are holding and these fib lines, guys, and the point of control is where we got our bounce at. I talked about that, and I said if it doesn't hold, we do have a really nice strong area of the dynamic reactor on the daily. Also, that 12.8 cent range, we never quite made it down there, getting our bounce off of that point of control. Typically, though, however, once you hit a point of control as support and you get it, you should head back up to that value area high. We're not seeing that because of most likely Bitcoin's price being bearish, selling pressure affecting the alts significantly. But I got to say, for alts being affected the way that they are compared to Bitcoin's price, Caspa is showing some resiliency here, guys. Looking at what's going on, we did do a wick down to that 14.5 cent. That's the phase 7 golden pocket there. Got a nice bounce on that and have wicked back up right now, forming a doji candle. That is a candle that has a very tiny body with big wicks on the top and bottom. That candle pattern typically indicates indecisiveness, and that's what we're seeing there on that. But we are starting to get down here, starting to get a flip of the ribbon and a green dot to pull back up in. My concern is we are flattening out on the RSI prime, getting a small green candle there, and this does look like it could be doing a continuation of this. There are a bunch of duck heads here. They're called duck heads because when you turn like this, they kind of look like a goose head there. Shout out to OC on that one. But it does look like we could be getting a continuation down. And if we do, again, watch for that point of control. That's 13.8 cents. If we break that, I do believe 12.8 cents. And God forbid, if we break, guys, we have 11.2. And then this long running trend line. That's long running trend line is very important because if I put this on a 3-day and show you what that level is, it is where we had back here. Let me turn off the fibs. Fibs, go away, please. Thank you very much. This was our key levels of support that we had for a long time in history back here. Starting back in 2023, January 2023, so well over a year ago, we had support, and every time we touched it, this is where we were picking up. 4.5 cents is where I went heavy into Caspa, and then now we're looking like if this continues back down and we lose those key levels again in that fib, trend-based fib extension, where did I put that at? There it is. If we continue to lose these levels, that would be the level that I'm watching. If we lose 11.2, would be that trend line again on Caspa. So that's what I got there. OC, let's kick it over to you and see what you got on the charts. And shout out to Billy Goat Tales in the chat. Billy Goat Tales.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at here. Just let me just put it in context because we have a couple of arrows in here from the past and previous analysis. Those errors were because we were pretty low on the prime score. Our consolidation score was also rising up in our market, was pointing at a dump. So now time has passed and we can see that we are still bearish. But the important thing in here is that we have not yet lost the base in here, the discount zone. So if I start drawing a couple of boxes in here, let me draw it very quick in here. We have this area with this threshold area. Let me just scoop it over. There we go. And we can see that we are making a range all the way down here. So far, despite Bitcoin has been dropping hard, I don't see the the correlative or the parity between the Bitcoin drop and INJ. That speaks very well of INJ. I still would not be ready to invest in INJ for the long, or at least for a DCA, until I start seeing it start breaking through a huge of its resistance. Because look at what we got here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then also dynamic reactor, everything acting as a resistance above that price action. So be careful with INJ. If you believe on this project, I would be looking for the bottom of this range to maybe start considering DCA. Remember, DCA, it is not using leverage on the base theory, but remember, you can do whatever you prefer to do, whatever fits your needs. But for me, I'll rather wait for a breakout retest, and then on this retest, maybe on this soft order block, for a bounce back in and that will be my possible entry on the 4 hours for INJ. I do expect that INJ holds until Bitcoin, or unless Bitcoin breaks right now this area at 6400. If Bitcoin breaks 6400, I believe the INJ will also be breaking its range. But other than that, turning back to you, Piper. I already updated the Discord list.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll take a look at that in a second. But I got Chainlink up right now. We had a request for Chainlink. All right, guys. So here's the deal. We've got a couple of things going on here that we need to be aware of. One, we got a fixed range volume profile here, and we did lose that point of control. I said we would very likely be heading down to that value area low, because that's what happens if you break a point of control. You go to that, just like if you break up and retest, you're heading to the value area high, or if you bounce off of it, finding support, you head back to the value area high. That's how fixed range volume profiles typically work. I do have this rectangle down here, this T box that is keyed up for this big volume node right here of price, which is all coming from back here. A lot of money went into Chainlink at that level and moved to the upside. Now, last week, we had talked about when we were breaking here that I was watching for a very good level of support here at this previous level. Why is that? Well, you can see here it is trading in a range channel, and that is what Chainlink likes to do when it is moving. It likes to trade in these ranges. You got one here, you got one here. We can go even further back and take a look at this one where it did it for a long time, trading in a range. It started back here in May of 2022 and stayed in that range all the way to October of 2023. That has given it almost a year and a half of trading in a range box. So I said that we would very likely be heading down to this. And to top it all off, if we go into the fib retracement, you can see it overlapped beautifully with that value area low and the golden pocket being pulled from the bottoms here to the top. And now we are here in the golden pocket, getting that bounce there. Like I said, we should. I have to say, if we take a look at the oscillators, they are not looking too bad. We're sitting super low on the daily RSI primed. Mind you, we can still go a little bit lower, which is why I do have that volume node in there coming from these levels back here. That's about $11.50. But if I had to call a buy, I would say Chainlink does look like it is possibly a buy, although I don't know that I would deploy the full purchase. I might do a 50% at this level here and then set the other 50 there. If the other 50 doesn't get deployed in there, then I will find a point later on where maybe it comes up and gets a nice rejection and then comes back and trades in this range again. Because like I said, Chainlink likes trading in ranges. So let's jump over to your chart, OC, and see what you got, and then I'll go take a look at the list.
Absolutely not. We have not pulled up based on the list that you guys requested. I was looking at this trend line here. I was making a manual trend line, but I'd also realized that we had an automatic trend line being drawn. I'm just going to do also my manual trend line just to also incorporate this other last movement that we have had. All right. Other than that, let's also take a look at what else we can see and subtract out of this, out of our indicators. So, oh, there we go. We also have a fallen wedge. What else do we have? We have a big pattern with a breakout pattern here, our breakout dot. Very nice. Also, our target got hit. The second target was hit. So, very nice there. And then let's see if we have something else. So, this is, by the way, the volume profile magnifier order block by Jacob Maccabee. I love this tool to start looking for either very bearish or very bullish scenarios. I use this tool also to take in or try to grab falling knives. I never recommend doing that, but when I'm feeling a little bit degen, this is the tool that I use. All right, so for big support, I can acknowledge this area down here because we also have broken, and this is a little bit worrying, this box in here that counters for this support, this support, this support, this support, so on and so forth, right? So we have broken, and then the very next area of support, it is all the way down here as the volume profile bar magnifier is showing us. So what are we looking for or forward to start considering maybe a reversal. Let me clear everything up and then start adding my indicators here. The first of it is going to see a seeing a flat area right down here. How are we going to be seeing this flat area? Well, then look at our trend line, and once we have this trend line, I want to see a break of the trend line on this tight trend line, maybe going back down, making a fail swing pattern, and they basically making a little bit of a ranging here. Once I start seeing that range, I want to go to my oscillator. First of all, I want to see being a flip of the ribbon and couple of green, bright green areas bars in here, as well as a flip of the ribbon if you are on the MVP oscillator, or if you are in the classical prime oscillator. Let me just make it load. There we go. And then I want to start seeing a bunch of divergences. Those divergences are playing out right now. So that means, could we be on the phase of bouncing? We could. But remember, never act on what could have been. Act on when you start having enough confirmations. For me, that might be a breakthrough the zero line to the upside, just like in here. Let me point you out. You might be just a little bit late to the trade, but I would say that not that late for maybe the bounce that we might be seeing up next. So what I'm gonna be expecting, it is going to be a breakthrough the zero line for a confirmation, and then a bounce to the upside, maybe to this money flow POC somewhere around 404. Remember, this is not a straight pull, one single movement. This is gradual, right? And first, we need to see this build up, or this range getting built up right down there. Yeah. Other than that, turning back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just checking something out here real fast. I want to take a look historically here. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's jump over here to my chart, guys. Couple of things going on here with render. We had a request for that. You can see here. Let me turn off the moving averages so I can get rid of the rainbow spaghetti there. We do have these levels here that we talked about last week on the show. I went ahead and threw a T box on here because we had this massive area of support that we had historically here in the golden pocket. That's the 0.618 to the 0.66 here. And you can see that we came down wick to the value area low of this current fixed range volume profile, because I said if we lose the point of control, again, you're going to go either to the value area low, value area high, depending on which direction you are moving. And we went down under the point of control, which means value area low is the target that you're going to look for there. Candle close, though, in the golden pocket. This is another one that I'm looking at the charts right now, and I'm thinking this is not looking too horrible in comparison to what's going on with Bitcoin. We have hit a key level of support that Bitcoin doesn't currently have on its chart. Render, it does. Now, one thing that does concern me is we don't really have a whole lot of strength here on the angle of this actual ribbon here on the Oscillator Pro, and we are sitting a little bit low here on the RSI Prime, but I'm not seeing any real big green candles start to pop here. I would like to see this start to give us some green candles on Heikinashi, giving us indication of reversal to the upside. But as of right now, we did get a support hold on that golden pocket. Now, if we want to get down to the nitty gritty of what's going on over here on this fixed range volume profile, we are sitting, if we lose this value area low, we are kind of sitting on a slope that comes down to about $6.30. It's right here above. But if we're going to do that, guys, I'm going to say that we're heading to the platinum pocket, which would be $5.75 to $4.70. That is a really choppy range of volume all the way through here until we get to that 887 at 4.70. So keep an eye on that. Render, though, right now, for the most part, looking like it may have found some decent support there at $7, sitting on that golden pocket. Let's kick it back over to you and see what you got on your chart there, OC.
Absolutely. I have a great opportunity to pull up a lesson here. Remember that previously we were looking at, what was it? NOS, right? So I was telling you guys that on NOS, what I was expecting is a breakout out of that trend line, right? So this is a fail movement to the upside, and that is because we did not make it through, or we did not hold it once we went for the retest on the dynamic reactor. But let's learn this so you are prepared for the worst case scenario on all of this altcoins that might be moving. All right. So we have the trend line, we see the absorption zone, we have the reversal. Very important. And I showed this on my classes. When we have a reversal and we range, we have 70% chances of continuing the previous trend. All right. So what is it happening here? We do not have the lower low. Could be a kind of like a maybe a hidden, or I don't know if I would be calling that a failed swing pattern, but could look like it. All right. And we had those bunch of divergences. Then what we do, we wait for the push through that zero line. And that's basically when we're also breaking through or waiting for the retest. Well, then that's where we start jumping in. So what happened? Did we bounce back up? Did we hold it? No. And then also, what happened here? We lost the previous base, and basically we went for a short on the retest for the short. All right. So this is the same thing that could be happening, or this could be the bearish scenario for NOS. All right. Making the breakout. All right. Going for the retest. Everything looking amazing. Breaking through a zero line. Going amazing. All right. Breakout. Retest. And then we failed on that support. So what you do, wait for the breakout, go now for the inverted retest, and off we go for the continuation if we have that reversal pattern. All right, so far, I think we still had on AVAX a little bit more pain to go. Just so you know, we are on daily right here, and I don't see a clear support other than, remember, this volume profile bar magnifiers. We're almost there. All right, almost there. And I'll start considering jumping in as I start seeing those maybe flip of the ribbon, add support add support. But so far, be aware that I could be looking at 2202 or even 19 or 18.8 for these areas down here on AVAX. So AVAX not looking fantastic. On the 4 hours, seems like we're having a little bit of a support, which could be ending up on, again, another dead cat bounce or a little range for the best case scenario. So just beware. We're still below the zero line. We're still bearish, right? We are below dynamic reactor, and our prime score is negative. So not quite there yet on AVAX.
Awesome. I'm doing one thing here real fast. Let's jump over here though. Talk for a second. One big movers that I am seeing in the markets right now is AGIX and Fetch. And I haven't looked at Ocean. You got Ocean? Can you pull up Ocean or one of those tokens? And because we do have an event coming in July, and we're going to talk about that in a second. I'm just pulling some info here on it, and then we'll look at these charts and then talk about that info too, because there's some things happening there. There's things happening. So.
Absolutely. So we can see right away, right here, and this is not common, all right, that as soon as we had that absorption zone and a discount zone, we start building up layer over layer over layer over layer of support. So we have a huge block. So in fact, if we go from the 4 hour to daily, which I'm not going to be doing right now because I want to look at what's happening on the 4 hour, most likely we're going to have, instead of two soft order block, we could be having a sandwich in here, making a hard or a loud order block right down on these areas. So that goes for, what is it? A trend line that we have all the way from these 2 points in here, but as you can see, acting as a resistance, bouncing back down to this big sandwich that we built up in here, and then off we go. Are we going to be breaking this trend line? We don't know. But what we can take a look at is it's our oscillator. So let me pull it up here to the prime oscillator, and then I want to pull up the trend fusion oscillator, and I want to show you a trick. So at this point, I have a reversal and a flip of the ribbon, but I have not yet broken through the trend line. What I'll be looking for an early and risky entry would be going inside this green cloud that I'm looking at. So as soon as I get inside of this screen area here, and if I'm breaking through that trend line, that for me could be a trigger on this possible entry. One more thing before I push it back to you, Piper. It is my trend fusion oscillator. In this case, when I do see that I don't have maybe enough data on my prime oscillator, what I do is I divide my ribbon. How do I divide my ribbon? Well, by looking at my money flow. Right here on blue, I have one money flow, and one here on red and green, which is this one green and the same one red, is the secondary money flow. It's a different equation, following the same path, but with different perspective of how money is rushing in and out. So far, what I can see is not there yet on the money flow on neither. So we are cutting out right here on this money flow, and I want once I see the flip of that money flow, I can start looking for the reversal of the secondary money flow. When both the money flows are pointing up, I'll be looking for a possible breakout. But that's what I'm seeing on Ocean. So far, great move, but money flow is not yet following. So turning it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Let's jump over and talk about this first. I want to talk about this first. This is that ASI token, guys, and this is what's happening with the merger with Ocean, Fetch AI, and AGIX Singularity. It was supposed to take place in June 11th through the 13th. Now it's been pushed to July 15th here, and that token will be a merger, will be called ASI. AGIX, Fetch, and Ocean all changing over there. So I said, what will happen with those? It says starting on July 1st, the AGIX and Ocean temporarily merging into Fetch, which will later be converted into ASI. The final conversion to ASI will be completed by July 15th. So that starts coming up here next week. So there is a lot of, if you look at the charts today, Fetch AI, AGIX, they're actually up for the day. So I said, what will happen to those tokens when it happens, when this merger occurs? And it says the existing AGIX, Fetch, and Ocean tokens will be converted into the new ASI token. Here's the specifics. AGIX token will be converted to ASI at a conversion rate of one Singularity, one AGIX, to 1.433 ASI. Fetch will be converted into ASI tokens at a 1-to-1 ratio. Initially, AGIX and Ocean merge over into that. So I know it's saying that you're going to get 4.33 ASI, but AGIX and Ocean will convert to Fetch, and then Fetch AI will convert 1-to-1 to ASI. Migration process, the token swap will be conducted using audited token migration contracts on Singularity Net's decentralized AI platform. The migration starts on July 1st with the initial phase moving over into Fetch, and then by July 15th, all three tokens will be fully merged into ASI. Impact on token holders. Existing AGIX, Fetch, and Ocean tokens will cease to trade independently once the merger is complete. Token holders will need to convert their tokens through the provided migration contracts to obtain the new ASI tokens. That is the information there. So I am pretty sure that if you're holding this on a centralized exchange, they're going to take care of that because it's technically not your tokens. It belongs to them. But I really need Crux because Crux, how does this work if you're holding this stuff in a cold storage wallet? That is the question that we need to know. So if you can do a little quick dive on that for the alumni, they as well as myself would all greatly appreciate it because some people might be holding that on cold storage. Just saying. But that's why you're seeing those numbers move up on Fetch AI and AGIX today. Jumping over here to my chart, you'll see move down here, and I am going to be taking a look at CleanSpark in just a second. Bitcoin mining company, just to show you what's going on there. You can see Fetch AI up 4.52% today. So take a look there. You can see it's actually moving to the upside after that down sweep. Looking at the 1 hour candles here, we put this on a daily. Actually, we'll put it on a 4 hour. Let's do a 4 hour. There we go. Fetch AI in its platinum pocket right now, getting upside movement today. And then the other one that I had just talked about was AGIX, and it is up 3.6 today. So those tokens getting a little move, people trying to position before that merger happens for ASI, and then all eyes on ASI at that point as of July 15th. Let's jump over, take a look at CleanSpark here. Clean Spark coming down into the buy areas again, guys. Again, not financial advice, but I talk about this area all the time. It is a golden pocket box here sitting right there underneath that point of control. And this T box has been present here for a long time. I've been talking about it since, February time period. So for months now, this has been the buy area range for Clean Spark. And as of right now, we are coming back into that box again at that point of control, trying to hold it there. Got a perfect wick to the top of that range box. Guys, I have to say, AGIX not looking horrible right now. Yes, we did pull but down from $20.64 all the way to $16.29. But if you are not financial advice, again, not financial advice, but if you are accumulating in this T box that we talk about all the time here on the show, you're doing pretty good. You actually could just keep, if you want to pay the capital gains tax on it, just keeps scalping this stuff up and down. So, well, I should say buy here, sell here. Buy low, sell high. That's the goal of everything, right? But as of right now, it does look like we're getting a little bit of a curvature here on the Oscillator Pro ribbon on the 4-hour. Looking at the daily here, we will see how that's looking. It does look like we have some more downside here, and we're getting big candles. But I would say anywhere in this golden pocket is a good area to accumulate Clean Spark. Solid project, and it has outperformed my Bitcoin run massively since I did the conversion back in February. Excuse me. If you look here, even from this wick high to where it's currently at right now, it's about 20% move, and that has been the upside pickups that you could do anytime that you're in this range down here. So that's what I got there. Let's go ahead and kick it over to your chart. You got anything up, OC?
I have Nvidia because it has been pumping up, and now we have a very nice retracement, maybe a possibility for a re-entry coming soon. Oh, we already are in my charts. Look at that. That was fast. All right. Let me just show something really quick. Look at the last parabolic movement on NVIDIA, right? When we had a reversal, just ignore that reversal for a little second, right? What I want to show you, it is actually pullback action, right? What happened on that pullback? We teased to break through that zero line, but we held it. Something important is that we held to the previous bull flag or bullish pennant that we were looking before the last parabolic movement. That's where we held with a little bit of an error between that movement and dynamic reactor. All right, let's see where we are right now. So if we look at this, we have kind of like the same with a parabolic movement here with a I would say a bullish pennant here. And then what's happening, we have the secondary parabolic movement. And by the way, we were expecting that movement on the 15 minutes time frame. We did an analysis on NVIDIA on Chart Prime. So shout out to you if you took that trade. And now we're going back, and guess where exactly? To this area right here. Does that mean that we are all done with that retracement? Not at all. We need to see that flip of the ribbon at support. Look at what most of the majority support is. So I am expecting maybe a week down, maybe a little bit of a movement to the downside, maybe going for a little of a range down here. And then when we impact dynamic reactor and we break through the zero line, that will be a great opportunity to then start looking for another long on NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I believe, it is not a bubble. It still had a good history to go. And it's important to note what it's doing with their chips, because at this point, I mean, they could start taking over the AI chip manufacturer. So that would be
they are in charge of it.
They already
they are the
over.
company. Yeah, I saw an article yesterday talking about Wall Street analysts that they can't even properly project on earnings calls. Like, they can't properly do their analysis to give their projections on Wall Street because NVIDIA is moving so fast. So they are way behind. the spread of accuracy on their last calls was 12 to 14% off from target. So yeah, across the board. So it is growing so fast. So yeah, it's a huge company, man. Shout out to Billy Goat Tells. He said he had to go, fans. So shout out to him. Much love to him. And then Dave Brumbelow wrapping out the shows on comments today said, I think we could see a quick wick down to 52, 53K on Bitcoin, but I don't believe it'll last long. And I am with you on that. So that is the range that I've been talking about for a hot minute. I started to think that maybe it wouldn't happen, but now it is absolutely looking like that could be the case. So we appreciate everyone that has joined us today. OC, what do you got for the alumni on the way out before we go raid Randy Hipper's show and drop those alumni graduation caps in there? Let them know the alumni is in the house. What do you got for the people today, man?
So first of all, guys, thank you so much for joining today. Make sure to click that like button right down there, because if you do, your Monday will taste like Friday. Don't believe me? Go ahead and click that like button. Just remember, leave beers for Friday, for the actual Friday, right? Other than that, have a great day. Turn it back to you, Piper.
What if you're like me and you're retired and every day's a Friday?
Nice. That's amazing. In that case, double down on beers.
Double down on beers. No, I can't do that. I'll have a moderate amount of beer after I go to the gym. I got to go back to the gym today. We got to work out. That's what we do. The wife is in there waiting. So, guys, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate everyone that's joined us here on Piper Academy. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, hopefully with TradeFly, bringing out the trio of the alumni here. And we'll be back at 9:30 a.m. bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Guys, until then, trade safe. And as always, use the stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. Sound off. To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!